Excellent. So we have the. We're connected? And looks like we're good. Excellent. So at the moment we have. It's saying round one at the moment, but we are starting round two of the European BCC tournament at Excelsior. With us, we have Elliot Lewis against Todd Smith. Elliot today is playing a version of Shenron. It's got some blue, got some yellow, and a lot of various things you wouldn't always expect in a Shenron deck. And Todd is playing Pan and Earthling version of it. Um, so immediately we see that Elliot went first on turn one, getting himself a couple of Dragon Balls and playing Fledgling Talent Pan. Super efficient card, can really help you find what you need in the deck, but Todd on his turn, as you see, has played down a Planet M2, which isn't seen in a huge amount of decks, quite honestly, but at the same time, super handy in this situation, because it straight away removes that Fledgling Talent Pan that does like to sit there and literally just keep on shuffling through those cards. So at the moment, of course, we're going to see, looking through the Dragon Balls by the looks, having, yes, of course, Shenron being Shenron at the moment. Looks like we've just got the zero drop Dragon Ball so far, so nothing too out of the norm. But in the life, what we do see is the yellow package with the Flying Nimbus and the is that the Explorer Bulma, which, if I remember rightly, you get to drop. Yeah, couldn't tell you what it does anymore. But you get to draw a card from it. You get to drop some cards. It does some weird things. You're not used to seeing it a huge amount at the moment in today's meta. So at the moment we have Todd quickly going through Elliot's side deck, Elliot's drop area, just making it making it nice and neat. So of course a very good turn for Shenron. You tap your 2 energy. You're not awakened yet, so you don't get to use your leader's ability to play without the energy. But it brings out the Gotenks. So the Gotenks, in my opinion, is a great card. Really, really good card indeed. It's basically a better version of the ability Unleashed Gohan, the Red Engine back in Season 1, Season 2, Season 3 when it was played a lot, where you get to choose, you swing, draw a card, and this one, the Gotenk Sunfields, is crit as well, so that's fantastic. 15k crit, draw a card every time it swings. If you keep it round for a couple of turns, then crazy efficient, all the while making the other person lose cards either to crit or losing cards in their hands to defend themselves. So we have looks like Pan taking a swing at Dragon Ball. Pan can be played a number of ways, quite defensively or quite aggro. If you're playing Planet M2, you can assume they're probably going a bit aggro here. So he's gone ahead and used the Planet M2 strat on his leader, which puts 10 against 5 and a super combo using the sparking effect, so you can play it at any point as long as you've got 5 cards in your drop. It will allow him to draw the card and not take the damage. So it looks like we've grabbed one Dragon Ball. He's not looking through his life, and you do get to grab 2 Dragon Balls with Shenron's effect. So I'm assuming that is going to be the 7th Dragon Ball, which of course allows Shenron to awaken. So we're going to see another Fledgling Talent Pan, which of course lets you drop a card, draw cards. Just nice and efficient, shuffling through your deck. So in his hand we see a couple of interesting things. The world pieces are going to come in super handy, especially if he decides to awaken soon. We can start getting some very big things out. There doesn't seem to be anything in his drop crazy that he'd bring out at the moment. He could bring that bomber out with it, but of course it is limited to the amount of energy you currently have. So he's going to awaken, and of course when Sharon awakens, you get to grab a desire card back to your hand, and he's going to find a child's wish, and he's going to play the energy for it to bring out a card that's well, it's a 3 drop that's 15k or less, so that brings out the personal ambition bomber. So Todd just having a quick read of the card, like me, not too familiar with it, but make himself so. So as we see here, the Gotenks does get to attack the uh, does get to attack again, which of course makes it a super efficient card. So this is the new, well, I say new very, very loosely. This is the set 5 red negate. Doesn't actually physically stop the attack, but it does give your leader an extra 40,000 and gets to remove not necessarily the card that attacked, as you saw there, but a different card. Removes it, any of their battle cards, loses 10,000 power. So that's how you see super great negate from Todd there, and it stops the not only stops the attack, but also stops kills off one of his cards that's clearly there for efficiency. So we also see the Shenron coming out. The Shenron, most people will be quite familiar with this one. It does a couple of quite nice things, really good in a lot of decks, good for a lot of situations, and starter deck exclusive, so quite easy to get hold of. So it's a 4.20,000 that can't attack, and every single turn, once again, lots of Elliot's decks seems to be every single turn. If you can keep the cards around, it's very efficient. So the 4-drop, it's going to be draw a card, and then it's your choice of get something out of your drop that's 2 or less, or get back 2 of your energies, which obviously you can start scoring the board really nicely with those 2 drops. Quite often people will choose to get the super combos back out, so that's even more draw on top of the 1 card you draw from using ability. And just a very nice card if it can sit there for a while. So one interesting thing we do see, of course, is Shenron has now awakened, and Pan is still sat in her unawakened form. Pan, of course, is an untapped 2 leader, so if Todd is playing a more aggro version, as is very likely from the Planet M2 version, it seems that he may use that to go aggressive. So seeing the Digging Deep Vegeta as energy, which allows them to play everybody's Power Yamcha, of course using Pan's ability. Yamcha sat at 15,000 with Pan's ability when a battle card's played. It'll get the extra 5,000, bringing it up to 20,000. And of course, when a card's at 20,000, Pan will allow you to draw a card. So everybody's Power Yamcha swinging in, and he gets the effect, which is look at the top 3 cards of your deck and grab an Earthling. So very similar to the Gotenks, it's very, very efficient. Looking at the top 3 to grab what you want. Very handy in most situations, especially if you can make it similar to how Elliot did with the Gotenks. If it can survive more than 1 turn, you get a lot of value out of them. Interesting, Todd decided to energy the Digging Deep Vegeta. I can't quite see his hands, he may have other awakening options, but it does allow him to. It would be the thing that allows him to awaken. But of course, the great thing about Pan is you're drawing cards for your awaken, so it's not the most important thing in the world, but it's nice to be able to swing the leader to get the draw as well. So what we saw there is in every Power Yamcha's attack into Gotenks, he did use the Planet M2 into the Fledgling Pan, as we saw on the first turn, which of course super efficient for the Pan deck because it will just straight get off the card even if it didn't attack. So you see the Whist's Coercion going down as energy. Interesting, we've gone for Whist's Coercion. It does, of course, run quite a few blue cards, but you do normally see the Black Burst super combos in the Shaman decks, since they don't tend to use Overwhelm. The burst mechanic is very handy to do it. The sparking mechanic, my apologies. So paying 2 for the Child's Wish rather than using Shaman's ability by the looks to bring back that Explorer Bomber. Elliot clearly putting a lot of value behind these bombers with the different options he has. He chooses to get that back over the Gotenks. But at the same time, if you're not looking to awaken your opponent, it can be good just to go for the efficiency. So the actual cost of Vegeta coming down, it's a interesting card. It costs 4 and it lets you draw a card and get energy back. But if you have 5 energy, what it allows you to do is you can take 2 cards from your own life. You kill one of your opponent's cards, and we saw Todd's Everybody's Power Yamcha dropping down, and then it gets an additional 3k power for every energy you've got. So Attle cost Vegeta normally sat at 20, we're sat at 35,000 triple strike here. And of course, the scary thing here for Todd will be the fact that if that does go for him, you can, well, before the attack, you can activate Shenron's ability to remove all your Dragon Balls, give it plus 10,000 power, and triple attack. So that then becomes a 45,000 triple attack triple strike. And of course, the excellent thing with the 4-drop, which I did forget to mention earlier, is that you can choose to give a card plus 5k and crit. And I'm assuming Todd was unable to negate the attacks, and he's unfortunately had to scoop. But very strong first round coming in from Elliot. And if I just adjust the score quickly. Of course, putting the score in reverse, that's handy. See if I can stop that round quickly. Well, I may have to stay like that. But Elliot takes the first game with the triple attack, triple strike, and I'm assuming had crit as well at the end there, which meant it I'm receiving a nod from the player that it did have crit. So if you don't have the options in your hand, you don't get to draw them for your life to try and find the option. It's just a very strong combo if it does come off. And very good playing to the win condition. So the player's looking through their side deck. Well, Todd's looking through his side deck. Elliot seems pretty confident with what he's rocking with at the moment. So taking a quick look through the deck lists, um, Todd's got, as what you kind of expect from an Earthling version of Pan, it's got the burst attacks, it's got chain attack from Xeno, and lots of double strikes, lots of big hitters just try and get in there early. As we saw, he had the Planet M2 that game, and everybody's Power Yamcha, which are efficient cards, but he wasn't able to get out as much aggro as he'd perhaps like. So it'll be interesting to see if he has any additional side options to get that aggro in there, because obviously with Dragon Balls, it's not a simple you're below 4 life awaken leader. It's a if you get attacked a lot before you have those 7 Dragon Balls in your drop, that is one of the big weaknesses of the deck, and it's one of the ways that people do play against Shenron quite a lot, is just go quite aggro at the start. So we'll see if Todd's got any options for that. Elliot, on the other hand, once again, doesn't seem to have made any changes to his deck, and it seems very straightforward. I think we saw what the deck is meant to do there. It's got some efficient cards to try and find its win condition, and using the at costs with that exact combo for the win condition, it looks like you're going for that pretty much most games. And as we saw, a very, very, very strong combo, because when you end up with 35,000 trunks, that can kill off anything. So even if the other player were to have a blocker, the Vegeta kills it immediately. And yeah, plus 10k from Shenron with the triple attack, with the crit as well. It's difficult to avoid just getting killed straight there. Of course, it's one of the reasons that Mafuba's come back into favour recently. Quite a few of the blue decks I've seen today have even lost a couple of the Dimension Magic negates just to get more Mafubas in there with the amount of Shenron players we've got here today. So talking about more the tournament in general, of course, this is the European BCC tournament. We've got a really good turnout today in Bristol. 32 maximum players, and it completely sold out, which is fantastic. We have people coming down from Cardiff, from Newport, a few coming down from Swindon, and we've got a couple of people come down from London Players Guild, to give us a hand to help us stream all this. So while the players set back up, talking about what we've got, the structure of the day. So this is the second round. We had a bit of problems with the computer updating during the first round, so we got to work about half through the first round, but decided to start streaming at the start of this round rather than throw it in halfway through a game. Um, so we've got best of 4, 4 rounds, sorry, and this is kind of the second round. And then after that, we'll have a top 8, where of course we'll have the quarters into the semis, into the final match. Not quite sure on the pricing today. I believe it may be a full draft box or a booster box, but the amount of promotions and stuff like that you get for entering, and additional prizes for all the top players. So definitely a worthwhile event to come to, and should be a good fun event to play. So we see turn 1, we see Todd going first, and we see the Vegeta being tapped for the Crisis Crusher. Crisis Crusher, obviously, a card that's become very favourable, especially against Storm matchups, but this one will be quite handy against those Fledgling Talent Pans. kind of works as an additional option to kill them off. So Elliot we see with a quite a nice life with no Dragon Balls in the life whatsoever. Um, this is against something more aggro, having more cards in your life to keep yourself alive is just fantastic. Having more cards in your deck to keep yourself alive because you need to be able to roll the punches early. And the fact he's got none in his life is definitely very good luck for Elliot there. I see Todd thinking a bit too much into it, thinking Elliot's bluffing having Dragon Balls in his life, but either way, for all intents and purposes, that is a quite nice first hand. And we got 3 out. Having 3 is quite nice because it basically guarantees, oh, we've got 4 there. So that's very strong because all Shenron needs to do now is find 1 more through drawing, through playing the next 2 Dragon Balls from his ability, and you have to awaken next turn, which can be very strong. And of course, playing Personal Desire. So Personal Desire is quite a nice card in my opinion. It's not really cool necessarily a strong card, but it's super efficient, keeps your deck thin. If you're running a black or yellow Shenron leader, you basically get to draw a card, so it replaces itself, and you untap your energy back. The great thing about that is that if you're playing Shenron, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to get that Child's Wish into your drop area before the game starts. So Personal Desire, great one. So if you do Awaken, you're making sure you gain that card and use the full ability of Shenron Awakening. So we see the turn being passed over to Todd. Todd thinking carefully about which energy he's going to put down next to his Digging Deep. And we see the 1-drop Trunks coming out. Intensive Power Trunks, excellent card. It's 5k, and when you swing, take a card from life to go ahead and go to 15k crit. Unfortunately, the way the interaction works with Pan is when the card is played, that when the card's played, it goes up to 10,000, which means you don't get the card, even though the card's ability does put it over 20,000, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure Todd's on it. And there we see, that's what happened earlier. With the 2 Dragon Balls, he did manage to find the 3rd Dragon Ball, which is definitely going to help him with against any sort of aggro, because he'll be now sat at 15,000 if he does choose to awaken. But we'll see if he does choose to awaken first, and we're going to see 2 energy for the objection. We've currently got a yellow and a blue, and that's the second blue energy going down. And he's going to pass without awakening, but potentially looking to make better uses of World Peace and Child Wishes in the future. So where Personal Desire is good to get back, if it's not necessary to awaken, you can absolutely hold off on that. So we're going to see that negate to go down as energy, and tap hand back up. So we see slight changes in Elliot. He's not going for the fledgling talent pans as they were in getting killed off, but may have been they didn't find them. But either way, very good against the Crisis Crusher as you may get to use them once, but they would just die for free. So we're going to see the Chain Attack come out. So the Chain Attack, Trunks normally costs 4 energy to play, but does have an evolve for 2 red energy. So we see Todd play the 2 red energy to go ahead and play out the Chain Attack, which goes into the Trunks. Interesting interaction with Pan is that you can choose to give the additional 5k from her auto onto either the cards played by Chain Attack, as the auto goes off at the same time. It's a change made by Bandai slightly after the cards came out, but it's a good interaction that does keep Pan being played a little bit. So what we see now is a 20,000 burst attack Son Gohan and the Chain Attack Zeno. And it seems that the burst attack, which of course comes with crit, and when you swing, if you've got 4 or less cards in your hand, you get to draw 2 cards. My apologies about the camera flashing. We're going to try and do a couple of things about it to try and reduce it as much as we can. So it's going to quickly try and fix the camera from flashing, where it's just trying to, of course, auto-adjust focus. So while we're quickly messing around with the camera settings, what we do see is the full drop Shenron coming out again, which, as we've learned, is probably quite a key part of Elliot's combo piece, making sure that even though Todd does sit at 7 life, as long as you've got the crit there as well, um, then it's as you saw Todd scoop. If he has an knowledge of his hand, he's not going to find one in his life with that crit taking out huge amounts of his cards. We see the Go Tanks come out again. Of course, once again, very efficient card. Hopefully it does stay around for a couple of turns from Elliot's point of view. And we see it passed over to Todd. So Todd's making sure his cards come back up. So Todd putting a bit of thought into what card's going to have energy again, and it's going to be a Giru blocker. Those Girus, as many decks have, and many different leaders and other cards have, it's a free blocker. It's 5,000, and if you've got a pan in play, and of course you do because it's your leader, you can play it for free. Nothing too special. But, so we see the burst attack Gohan going again. And Todd is tapping 2 to play Yamcha. So one of the handy things in this situation, which not a huge amount of decks run anymore because it's mainly Jiren and the new Vegeta thing, but of course chain attack trunks can attack cards in active mode, which can be very handy for removal. If you need that Shenron to stay around, you can pressure it even when it's in active mode, and similarly with the Bulma. So we've got Todd playing out a Fortune Teller Barber, just to help him with his attack. So of course, Yamcha swinging, looking at the top 3 cards of your deck, and you get to go ahead and choose one Earthling. So Todd going ahead and grabbing out a super combo from the top 3 cards. Never can go too wrong with a super combo. And just shuffling back up. So looking over at the current board state, obviously Todd's got quite a big board, but it is all very aggressive. We've got no blockers, nothing barrier, so nothing that's going to stop Elliot's large combo. Of course, Elliot looks like he's just playing efficiently, making sure he's got the cards ready to pull the combo off. And at this point, with having 5 energy next turn, it looks like if he does get one more turn and gets a Vegeta out without Todd being able to have multiple negates, it may be difficult to survive it. But having a quick look through his hand, I can't quite see the second card in it, but it's very potential he does have that soon. And of course, in Elliot's hand, we do go ahead and see the Bad Ring Laser. So even if he did have negates, he does have that. No yellows untapped, admittedly, currently, but obviously with Vegeta's ability, leaving one up, that's absolutely a viable option to make sure you get that win. It's a very interesting little tech and could potentially be very strong. So we see the Crisis Crusher being used. And one thing I've been used with is keeping everyone up to date with the players' current life scores. So let's go ahead and update them now. Elliot sat at 6 life, which is quite comfortable for him, where Todd also sitting at a 7 life, but a bit less comfortable for him. But then, of course, having 7 life over 6 when you're being attacked by triple attack is beneficial, because if you can stop at least one of them, you're still in with a chance. So at the moment, we don't see a huge amount of pressure going onto Shenron's leader card. We see most of it going towards that Gotenks. Todd's making sure and he's managed to remove from the table, and he's making sure he's getting rid of Elliot's efficiency pretty much, because that card gets a lot of value out of it if it gets to stay around for another turn. And thankfully, from Todd's point of view, it won't be. So the objection against energy, that makes complete sense after one's come out. You don't need to go too much higher than this. Having a quick look through Elliot's deck list, it doesn't look like he wants anything higher than 5, so we can use World's Peace at will. So we currently have 20 minutes left on the round, and of course we're doing round 2, game 2 of this, so we're going to see the Child's Wish being played for 2 energy rather than using Shell's ability, which brings back the Bulmer, which gets you your 2 energy back. Strong little combo there, which allows him just to simply draw a card. So you see Explorer Bomber going in for the attack and comboing in with a Crisis Crusher. I would assume this is going for the burst attack. Burst attack, of course, if it stays around, it's so much pressure. Those 2 cards you draw, you can just keep. 2 cards is a lot to draw, especially with a 15k attack that you don't want to be hit with. So, players having a quick joke around about Bulmer's aggressiveness. But to see Bulmer going in with the 15k, and Todd needs to decide whether or not to save it. Okay, so the attack was into his leader, and he's gone ahead and taken the attack, which does put him down to that 6, as we discussed earlier. 6 is a lot scarier for Todd than 7, because now when the combo comes out, as we did expect, the actual cost for Vegeta, and it's going to be, I can only assume, the exact same combo as we saw last game, where he's going to go ahead and activate his ability, which means he gets that second energy up, so he's got that blue and the yellow untapped. He's going to go ahead and kill off one thing from the person's side, and I'm sure he'll. And that's the correct choice in my opinion. You want to kill off a thing in active mode because you don't want to give your opponent the extra 5k combo. Of course, you can't combo with cards in rest mode. So Vegeta right now, 20,000 base, will be sat at 15,000 extra, giving him 35,000 overall, and triple strike. And if we do go ahead and get rid of the Dragon Balls to use Shenron's effect, as we see him doing right now, we're going to go ahead and move him up to 4 to 5,000, triple attack, triple strike, a huge combination. And of course, once again, we do have that Shenron on field, which is going to give an additional 5k and crit. So we're basically looking at a monster of a card, which is 50,000, triple attack, triple strike, crit. Straight into Pan's face. And so we're going to go ahead and see Todd use the burst mechanic to play, the sparking mechanic, my apologies, to play the after image technique, which is going to go ahead and unsure if cards will drop there, but I'm gonna keep on. Yes, the yellow energy is tapped, so that's very potentially the a bad ring there that's played. So seeing Elliot looking through all his combinations of his attack right now, comboing in with an additional 2 Shenrons. So see what Todd has to stay around in this game. So we've gone ahead and taken the first triple strike crit. So of course the triple attack given from Shenron is going to give him 2 more goes of that, and Todd is currently sat at 2 life. So not looking to be hit again, so we're going to go ahead and play out the Child's Wish, I believe it was, to bring back the Explore Bomber to get this 2 energy back and draw that card. Of course, no reason not to. It gets you your energy back, gets you an extra 5k combo piece on the field, and lets you draw the card. So playing 2 for the second Child's Wish. We can only assume to bring out... Oh, it's bring out a super combo this time. Makes complete sense. An extra 10k combo when going for game is fantastic, and it's going to enjoy that card. Of course, it does play it on the field, and you're not many decks. It's very unusual to ever play super combo on the field. It's mainly from hand, but you can still combo from the field to get that extra 10k and that draw card. So Todd unable to counter. Vegeta currently sat very high, minimum of 50 really, and I'm not sure if anything else has happened to it, but we can assume that card's a bit of a beast as Elliot goes for a very big all-in here. So we're going to see the Awakening from Pan here. Of course, Pan holding that one quite close to her chest, and Pan being able to tap back 2 energies. So if Vegeta's at 50, that would make it 60, 75. So we see Todd here go from 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, and unfortunately 75 does match 75. The very last card was Zeno, which of course has no combo cost whatsoever, and is unfortunately Todd's downfall, which does go ahead and make it a 2-0 to Elliot. Elliot winning with a very solid win condition, very consistent, making sure with the fledgling talent pans and the personal ambition bombers, just to make sure that that combo is going to come around every single game. And with the exception of Mafuba being able to stop it, I don't see what Todd could have done there. Obviously, unless you want to run a full blue deck side engine, you're not going to be able to use that card. Yeah. So if I'm lucky, I will grab Elliot up here to have a quick talk through his deck, see if he sees, just see why he chose the cards he chose, and if it is if that is the win condition he's going to be going for every time. And hopefully we'll get Elliot over here now. Hey buddy, how are you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Just going to quickly swap the cameras around so you can see us with a rather flush background. Excellent. So, Elliot, we just have this one microphone, so it picks up a bit you can see down there, but I'll put it towards your face when you can talk.
All right, cool.
Lovely. So excellent. On stream, just gone ahead and won 2-0 against Todd. Todd,
Yeah.
quite well known player around here from just originally, and travels around a bit, and playing Pan. You okay to talk a little bit about your deck, why you chose the options you chose, all the options you put in there for the efficiency, and that pretty solid win condition?
I can do. Um, so I chose Shenron obviously because draw power is incredible with Shenron. First few turns you search the Dragon Balls, that's +2 every turn. And then obviously the strategy is to just hit them twice, hopefully with critical with Gotenks, denying the cards from their life, and go all in last turn with Vegeta.
Yeah, it's one thing I picked up on your deck and really liked about it is the efficiency of it. It's crazy. Obviously, the I talked a lot about the quick thinking go takes. If you can make him stay around for a couple of turns, it's just a great efficient. And
Thank you
Todd
very
is
much.
passing over right now. Todd is one of our place's bounties, so you go ahead and as a fun, yeah, go for it. Fun extra thing, you get to open a booster pack that he's been given. Which booster pack is that? One martial arts.
No, this is set 5.
Set five.
That's what we got. Just a
And
rare.
we got. Go ahead and get the is it Spirited Trunks.
Third Trunk Search Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it can be used in is it Shenmue veggies. I've seen it a
Shenron
little bit.
veggies, yeah.
Nothing else crazy.
Nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy. Um, so yeah, so if you can talk me through the options of all your efficiency, because you've got personal ambitions in there, you've got fledgling talent pans, you've got explorer bombers and go tanks in there.
Well, originally I was running a lot more personal ambitions because obviously that's a free draw a card. Um, but there's just so much you can do with Shenron, like with the World Peace, where you World Peace Shenron back in just to give that Vegeta crit, because obviously otherwise you'd be leaving a lot of cards with Triple Strike. The Bulma is my favourite part of the deck, where you Charles Wish her back in,
Yeah,
tap two.
the bomber was the crazy thing that because before the game, honestly, I haven't seen it. I play quite a bit of Dragon around here and quite a bit of Untap, and I see it from time to time, but never enough to. I've never seen it used quite that well. Because for you, it was Child's Wish for free, get the 2 energy back, and play the card down. I mean, I'd seen it so little that before the game started, I grabbed your deck just to double check what the card
Yeah,
actually did again, then beautifully forgot. But still, I see why it's your favourite part of the deck, because to get those 2 energy back,
and
and
especially on that last turn, how you can just use them to combo and then just Child Wish them all back, and they just get massive combo numbers right at the end there.
yeah, that's the thing. Replaces itself for free and gets the extra combo on field. It's just, was it 75 each at the end, and he couldn't. Did you match it?
85. He got 75. I got to 85.
So yeah, even with his entire hand tapping 2 energies back, it's not enough possible to stop that. And I mean, if he did, I believe you still have one more attack
Yeah,
in
I
you
did.
anyway. So okay, and I of course saw that bad ring set in your hand. Did you
Yeah,
did you bad ring his
yeah.
first negate?
No,
I couldn't quite work it
yes,
out.
I bad ringed the first after image technique, and I had the bad ring in my hand for the last turn as well.
Yeah, another great thing, of course, going to be with those Bulmers, energy control. If you do need that yellow back and you've only got blues, then tap to Child Wish and it's back out. Yeah, really cool deck. We did actually talk a little bit about it at the start, and I was struggling to see the deck's win condition, but you definitely showed the win condition. I assume that's the win condition every game, every single game. You want to get that
Yeah,
out of us.
you want to get that triple attack, triple strike onto Vegeta, and just hit them as hard as you can.
Yeah, perfect. You played it very well. We got the objections where you needed to. I talked a little bit about it, but on in that second game with those two Dragon Balls, finding that seventh Dragon Ball, very good. You know, you're not too scared of being aggroed down by a
Pan deck.
Earthling Pan, yeah, and they're not gonna be able to store you out. So great choice, great deck, and you're 2 wins now going into the
Yeah,
third
two
round.
wins.
Fantastic, and I'm gonna see who else I can grab around to talk to me.
Awesome.
Right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I was going to see if we can grab Todd to commiserate him on his loss, and honestly, to give me someone else to talk to while the round plays out. 2 rounds went by quite quickly, so we've got the rest of the tournament still playing. So we've got Todd with us. Hey Todd.
Hello, hello.
So it's a super quiet, sensitive microphone, as you can see from the lovely green bar. You're
Oh yeah,
far used this at me. So I'm going to literally shove it down your throat.
that's
So
fine.
what you're used to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so go ahead and if you can talk a little bit about your pan deck, what kind of win condition you're going for,
Yeah.
and how impressive that combo was.
Well, mostly going for aggro, obviously. A lot of 15k, so I can get the extra off the pan leader. Biggest issue I had in that game is I misplayed big time when I played the Baba, when I had 2 NG, tapped that, because then I drew into a Zeno, and if I had 2 NG, I could have chain attacked Zeno'd and wiped the field, wiped the hand, might have been able to get it, so, win some, you lose some. and second game I only saw Zeno come his kill turn, so I didn't see it early enough to be able to reset his hand, which was the whole point of his game.
Yeah, it's the good thing about your deck is because not many people do prepare for Zenit nowadays.
Yeah,
That especially turn two when Shenron's going up to 10 plus cards in his hand at points,
yeah,
it can be a really it can still be super strong, super aggressive, and of course Pan's got the best Zeno in probably both of our opinions. Where you play it, you still draw a card. It's fantastic. Um, of course, we saw even when you got off in the first game, and it was still
didn't get it
you got
off
off in
in
the first,
that game.
didn't get off in either games.
Didn't get it off. No,
Um,
oh, my first game I did.
sorry,
First round I
yes,
did.
sorry, first round
First
you got
round,
it off, and
first
it
round I got
was
off both games. It ruined Shenron.
and it's fantastic at Shenron. But here you just weren't able to see it. You were able to chain attack out and I was waiting for the zone to come down, and then it was a burst attack, and
Yeah, the first attack went down to try and get the draw to try and get into the Zeno for my next turn. Didn't come into it. Done. That was it.
yeah, sometimes there's only
Yeah,
so much you can do. It's why, as I was mentioning earlier, why a lot of decks nowadays they do run a couple of Mafubas against to go directly against that combo. But if you're running red deck, of course, going for that more aggro, not for that as much control,
yeah,
you don't get that option, which is fair enough, I guess.
yeah. Oh well.
Have you seen that combo before with the Explorer Bulmers and the Fledgling Talent Pans, just for all that efficiency to make sure you do get that combo off every game?
I've seen a couple of streams of people sort of testing it, but I've not played against it before, so it's that would have been key to get the Zeno. That would have been key. Should have had a fourth in my side deck.
Yeah, for it's the thing, isn't it? Trying to get four Zenos in your deck, it can be super cloggy, especially with a couple with that zero cost combo. If you
Yeah,
so at the end, but no worries, you go into the third round, 1-1,
1-1. Yeah.
1-1, not too bad at all,
If I go
and
3-1, I might be okay.
3-1, perfect, top eight, no worries.
Yeah.
Otherwise, go home early.
Who knows? Yeah. Anyway.
Right, cheers ever so much for joining me, Todd. I think